My husband passed away in June of 2019 of esophageal cancer. We had 18 days from diagnosis to death, and it threw all of us for a loop. And
this is the story of an inspiring woman named Carrie. She reached out to me to help her buy and sell a home. In the process, she became more than just a client. She became a friend. I got to know her story. It's an inspiring one. She's a brave and courageous woman. I'd love to share that story with you.
My name is Carrie Fajvan, and I'm a single mom to 3 amazing kids, Ashley, Elizabeth, and Jack, and they are ages 17, 10, and 9. And come September 8th, I will be a full-time student at Northern Essex Community College, and I'm going to be studying criminal justice. Alan and I met back in 2008, and I was recently divorced and not looking for a husband. And one of my girlfriends decided that him and I would make a good couple and introduced us. She dragged me to a barbecue at his best friend's house and did the old switcheroo, and she was sitting next to me. His best friend sent him over to sit on the other side of me, and then my girlfriend got up and walked away and left the two of us to talk. After that, he asked for my phone number, and we talked on the phone for 3 weeks, and after we had our first date, I was done. I was completely fallen for him. Our world was entirely turned upside down. We thought that he was having back problems, and when it became evident that there was something more and he went to the doctor, he had trouble lifting his right toe and was sent for an MRI, and that was when they discovered that he had cancer everywhere. And they didn't know the origin at that time, they just knew it had metastasized. And so the next couple of days was a whirlwind of doctor visits and trying to figure out what we could do to help treat him. He spent 12 of his last days out of those 18 in the hospital, and the doctors did everything that they could for him and tried to control his pain. And so I was very, very blessed that I was able to be with him the entire time in the hospital. My sister came up from Connecticut and took care of my kids, and my parents pitched in as well and helped, and I did not have to leave his side for those last 12 days. In the beginning, I was very afraid. It shook my security. It shook my security on life, and just knowing that around every corner you have no idea what lies ahead. Because in 18 days, I went from having a husband to not having a husband. But after a while, that sense of security returns. I no longer felt like I needed to return to the house and make sure that the windows were locked and that sort of thing. And when I got COVID this last March, I've never been that sick for that long in my entire life. And that was nerve-wracking because knowing that I'm a single parent, I wanted to make sure that I was there for my kids. And so I was sick for almost 3 weeks, and I had a very high fever for 10 days. Oh, there was obstacles of just learning how to fix different things around the house. Alan fixed everything, knew how to do it all. We rarely had to hire anybody to do anything except if we had to have the furnace cleaned. So it was when it came time for snow blowing, who was going to do that, lawn mowing, who was going to do that. I did end up hiring a company for those things, but when the shelves in the closet broke, I had to figure out how to replace those myself. YouTube was definitely my friend. Most importantly, it was figuring out how I could help my children with their loss and how could I help myself. but I have a really strong friend and family support network that were there for me every step of the way. People that were even just acquaintances just came out of every place in my life. And I had a meal train from after Alan died in June all the way through August. My sister, I could call her anytime and run things by her. You know, part of having a spouse is having somebody to bounce those things off of. And not having that anymore, my sister Connie became that person for me for a very long time before I felt secure enough in the decisions that I was making on my own. We got to a point in our journey that we felt like it was time for a fresh start and really wanted that fourth bedroom as well. Right now, Jack and Elizabeth share a bedroom and they would love to have their own space and wanted a smaller town with a little bit less busy of a street. And this is just a really big part of our journey of moving forward after losing my husband, Alan. My faith in God has been instrumental in all of my life, but definitely through this whole process of deciding to, going from losing Alan to deciding to sell the home that we shared for the 10 years of marriage that we were able to have together. Knowing that this was the right time to sell, it is a seller's market right now, and knowing that it's what was right for me and my children to be able to have this fresh start. And it's a lot to move, but when you have an excellent realtor that's with you every step of the way, it gives you a lot of peace of mind knowing that you have my back and you are there to answer any question I have and lead me through the process, and knowing that I have friends that are there to help me with whatever struggles there are along the way that will help me move things into the new house, or help me decorate, or help me pack up, or help me clean out the old house. That it all comes together, and bit by bit, step by step, you figure every piece out, and it does work out. I think success is what defines you as a person and what makes you happy. It's not measured by what you own or how many years you've gone to school. It's about family and being together with your family and your friends and doing things that fill your soul. I knew it was the right thing to do in my gut, and so when you listen to your gut and then you persevere, it will happen.